What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. Got an impromptu discussion video for you today, just something that happened to pop in my mind a couple minutes ago, and I definitely wanted to do a video about it. I mean, hell, who am I kidding? Most of my videos are impromptu anyway. But the topic at hand today, and really it's a question I want to ask you guys, is what is your preferred material for a fixed blade knife sheath? And because this is mainly a question to you guys, I'm going to keep this fairly short. I just grabbed some random fixed blades I had with some different examples of materials, and I'll just quickly highlight some of the advantages and disadvantages I see of each. But really, I'm looking into getting a new fixed blade, and I don't even know what that roll is going to be, what size, but I know it's going to be a tops knife, I can tell you that much. And when it's come to fixed blade knife purchases in the past, I've been mostly focused on Kydex. I mean, it's the most popular, it's the most versatile, and if I watch the reviews, I see the videos, and people are talking about it has great retention, it's good quality, that's usually the route I'll go. But let's get into our first material here real quick. So this is a leather sheath. In fact, it's my only leather sheath knife, I believe. Now, this is the SOG Field Pup 1. I don't know if you guys knew I had this one or not. I kind of plan on doing a surprise review where I didn't do an unboxing and I was just going to use it a lot and then do the review. But that kind of went out the window when I threw it in front of the camera. But anyway, I don't know if this is real leather or not. I didn't do the research on this knife. It doesn't really matter. Just kind of serving as a talking point here. So leather to me is all about class. I don't think leather sheaths are the most functional. But I definitely think they're suited to a certain type of knife. And I mean, that type of knife is up to debate, but leather to me is less intimidating. I mean, you kind of have to wear it outside of the waistband. It's usually in the open, and that's why hunting knives, bushcrafting knives, outdoors knives will, not usually, but a lot of the time have leather. And leather to me is classy. It just is. I mean, this isn't particularly well done leather, but if you're getting it from a good company like Tops or, you know, Benchmade, if they have some leather sheaths, I mean, they're going to be well stitched, and in a lot of cases they'll be made out of, you know, U.S. steer hide, something that's right here from the good old U.S. of A. Now, leather obviously has some disadvantages with moisture, and we all know that. Don't get it too moist, it'll hold on to it, it'll ruin the leather, and then you run the chance of having your knife rust as it sits in a moist, it's a terrible word, leather sheath. Now, one disadvantage I want to talk about really is the lack of versatility when it comes to carrying options. Usually, and not always, but usually leather sheaths will lock you into one carry position. Like this SOG Field Pup, it comes with a fixed belt loop. That means this will have to be carried on your belt if you want to carry it on your person. Of course, you can throw it, you know, in your car or in your pack, but I don't really see a way to easily attach this to MOLLE, you know, to a backpack strap, or, you know, run it horizontally. It's just not going to happen. So you're kind of locked in, and that's okay. But like I said, not as versatile as it could be. So here, let's bounce around to thermoplastic or its counterparts. Now, these are usually found on cheaper knives like this SOG Gambit. Thermoplastic is going to be great if you're worried about, you know, heat or cold affecting a leather sheath, or maybe even a nylon sheath. They're going to be fairly waterproof. They're going to function very similar to Kydex. They're just not of the same quality. And I think most of us realize that. I'm just kind of highlighting what I see about it. Something about this one here, this is kind of a combo sheath where you have a nylon, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, a nylon belt loop with a thermoplastic or some sort of plastic sheath. And to me, that's actually working really well if you want a dedicated belt knife, because you can run this, you know, on either side. You can flip it and do some different things with it. But as far as kind of a drop leg style, this sheath has actually been working pretty well, and I'm impressed by it. But generally, I avoid plastic sheaths unless it's specifically on a budget knife. I mean, I wouldn't buy a $150 fixed blade with a plastic sheath. At that point, I expect very high quality Kydex, leather, or maybe ballistic nylon. And this is something I've had trouble with in the past. I think most of us have seen the very crappy fixed blades that are, you know, 10 or 20 bucks that are just coming with terrible nylon sheaths. I'm not saying charade is necessarily the case, even though I think this quality could be better. And of course, you're getting into fabric content and all that crap that I'm not really going to touch on. But do you guys see an advantage to a nylon sheath? To me, I don't see a whole lot of advantage here. Maybe silent, you know, it's very quiet to get the knife in and out if you don't have a loud strap like this. But most of them still have a plastic insert, and sure, they add the ability to have a pouch on some of them. But again, on this knife, you're locked into a single method of carry. Now, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the ballistic nylon, and Tops has a great selection of both, or of all three really, Kydex leather and nylon. So I'm kind of torn, but let's finish up with Kydex. And like I said, it's the most versatile, it's probably the most common, and a lot of people now are making money. I mean, it's their full-time job to make Kydex sheaths for knives and holsters for firearms, for that matter, because you can do so much with it. You can form it to any shape you want. You can add, you know, crazy colors to it. I mean, some of the textures are a little bit different depending on your grommet holes, or, you know, you can just add so many different mounting systems, from blade tech locks to just simple belt clips to very cool innovations like these beta material loops. So like I said, Kydex has been the way to go for me for a very long time. But to me, Kydex is a little bit more intimidating if you're going to be carrying a fixed blade around, especially for EDC. I mean, there's a loud click and snap when you're taking the knife in and out. And maybe a leather EDC knife like if you guys have seen it, the Baja 3.0 from Tops. I've been looking at that one pretty heavily. And it's been making me reconsider buying some more leather sheath knives. And then other knives from Tops like the Cuma Evolution. If you guys want to look these up, I can put links in the description. But I believe that knife comes with a ballistic nylon sheath that is probably miles ahead in quality of the Schrade, and maybe I should go that route. So really, guys, I'm looking for a new Tops knife, and I don't know if I want to do a bug out knife, an EDC knife, another day hike blade. You know, just, I don't know what I want yet, and I think it's the sheath that's kind of holding me up. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. If you guys only buy certain sheath materials, if you're only Kydex, or maybe you just don't care. Maybe if it's got a good sheath, you don't really mind what the material is. Or maybe you're kind of like me, where you think certain materials are better at certain things, or certain philosophy of uses for knives, or even certain sizes. I mean, I would hate to have a leather sheath knife with a, you know, 2-inch blade. It would just suck at, you know, retaining that knife in the sheath. It just wouldn't be the best choice for that size. So hope this was interesting to you, got you thinking a little bit, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and, you know, whether you agree on some of the disadvantages I talked about, because I definitely didn't touch on everything. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and remember, have fun with your knives.